Hello everybody and welcome back to Space Engineers, but welcome to Space Engineers 2. Yes, the early access alpha has been released. It actually got released yesterday, but unfortunately I didn't have the time to actually make a video on it, so I'm going to be making a video today. Oh, this is exciting. To be honest, the main bits I'm waiting for are these two. These are cool, and I'm going to have a look at them today. These are what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for planet survival and water. But first impressions, the loading screen of this page here actually looks really cool. I'd be quite happy if I just left it like this. So let's go into I guess quick start. See what's in quick start, shall we? Also be useful if I put my mic in a place where you can hear me better. That would be good, wouldn't it? Okay. And here we are. Space Engineers 2. Now the first impressions are this game looks really, really cool. Like honestly, really cool. First person, yep, you can show yourself. Let's go off that. Wow. Now, I'm sure you've probably seen other videos of people talking about all the fancy stuff in Space Engineers, and I could do the same, but to not waste your time, I'm not. I'm going to spend half an hour to an hour messing around in this game, trying things out, seeing how I find it, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about my findings. So let me have a little bit of experimentation and I'll be back in just a little bit.
Many unbearable hours later.
Alright. I have been doing some experimenting, looking into some things, trying some stuff out. And I've found some good things and I've found some not so good things in my personal opinion. I've also been chatting with a couple of friends of mine who've also been messing around in Space Engineers, and they've also found some interesting bits and pieces, so yeah, let's go through them now, shall we? First of all, the game looks utterly amazing. I'm not 100% sure about the skybox being so vibrant. I tend to like a bit of a darker skybox, but you know, to each their own. The ray tracing and the effects are just staggering, as in real-time shadows, 3D looking blocks, reflections on the windows, all that kind of stuff. Amazing. They also have, I realised, have an F8 camera, which is really, really cool. So, if the first thing I noticed was, if you look into the reflections, you'll see it's reflected. The skybox is reflected, yeah? That's kind of nice, but if you zoom in to where you actually have a couple of a grid or something behind. Let's see if I can find a grid. You see how it's not real time, it sort of lags behind. It's nothing bad, but it's just, I don't know. It's fairly good at really slow speeds, but it has that delay. I'm sure they can work on it. Other thing, the fire and stuff, again looks cool, but it's in space. Why have fire in space? And it's definitely fire, this one. This is definitely fire. So I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember if I said I was right or wrong about the whole thing about if blocks are not fully destroyed but they're just broken, will they still work? I'm still not 100% sure, because a lot of these blocks, they don't have any information, they're just pure looking blocks. If I was to get into like the debug tool, and I was to shoot a piece of that solar panel off, let's say there and there, and maybe there. Is this solar panel still going to work? It looks like it is, because you know, it's still got the green lights, but obviously it's lost some of its solar cells. So it'd be really cool if you know, the game would actually still show it. game would actually, like, you know, if it'd still work but at a reduced rate or something like that. It'd be cool. Other things, if it came down to here where you've got these blocks, obviously we've all seen this gyroscope. It looks utterly amazing. The game 100% just needs all of the animated blocks it can possibly get. But we also have a gravity generator, and that has a little bit of movement, which is really cool. I really like this block. And again, reflections on the glass. They look nice. We have an assembler here, and it looks like 2 3D printers is what we came to a conclusion it looks like. So it looks like a big one here, and then a smaller one on the end. And wouldn't it be cool if when you're actually putting stuff into this, it actually like builds them? Like it had a different animation for each individual part. I know it's a lot of work, but that would be really, really cool. Really cool. And then it also looks like up here, possibly module points. So it looks like you've got a speed module, a power efficiency module, another speed and another power efficiency. But there's no, well, I guess you don't really get yields on these. But they're labelled, where in SE1 they're not. On the refinery, I don't seem to find any apart from the ones up here. Because it's just got the, yeah, again it's just got one, it's got 2 power efficiency, 2 speed, I'm guessing is what they are. Also, the refinery is slightly smaller than SE1. Instead of it being a 2x2x4, it's a 2x2x3. And the assembler is, instead of being a 2x1, it's a 2x1x2. The DLC assembler is that size, but yeah, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Another really weird thing which I'm trying to work out is when you go into settings and then you go into the graphics, you have all of your settings. You know, you got the presets and then you have all this quality. You can't change anything. You know, you could, so you've got low, puts everything in, you know, the lowest, most stuff's disabled or low. Medium, increases, high, extreme, and then you have custom. And custom is where you can actually edit stuff. Now, no other game does this, and I don't know why they've decided to do it, because it does 2 things. One, if you're in any of the presets, you can't edit something without going to the custom. And 2, if someone's wanting to play it on a lower end PC, and you know they want to turn stuff, not have everything on the lowest, but have some stuff on the lowest, you have to go all the way to the highest of high settings to be able to turn stuff down. You may be asking, where's the problem? If you've got not a very powerful PC, and you have to go into everything being maxed, that's basically just going to either brick your PC or really, really lag the PC. It seems a very weird way of doing it. Just to make people aware, most ways people do these kind of things is you have your presets. So let's say you'd be on a medium preset, but all of these would be available to, you know, edit. And then if I edited it, it would auto create it as a custom preset. So I don't know why. Either way, I tend to play in extreme or maximum, because why not? I've got a 3080, a i12 700K, and it seems to be running absolutely fine, although I seem to not have any stats on terms of FPS, because you've got pages upon 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 pages. None of them show an FPS. I don't know. Going into the sort of fire side more, I just wanted to do a little test with the mining ship, because one of the things I commented on was, when you're drilling it looks like it's fire. I'm starting to believe, as you can see here, it's not fire. It's actually just the dust or whatever coming off when you're mining, and it's these sparks which are really, really lighting up this thing to make it look like fire. It's interesting, and I'm not 100% sure if it's the best way, but it makes more sense that it's not fire and it's just smoke. Let's just say that. Another interesting thing, this is getting onto the sort of building side now. So we've talked about a lot of the main bits. Now to get onto the building side. So I've been messing around with creating interesting things, and it's a bit different how SE1 works. And this is I've got a couple of negative things to say about this. So settle down. I don't want to say disclaimer immediately. I'm not saying this game is bad or anything like that. I'm very much aware it's in very early access. So anything I say are just my observations. They're not to roast the game. They're not to say, oh, this game's going to be terrible. This is just in the current alpha branch. It's only been out for 2 days, so give the people some credit, right? So, if you're to place a new grid, you can't just place a block into the world like you could in SE1. You have to press J. When you press J, then it allows you to actually build in the world. You can... let's press J. Let's place down a block. There we go. Nice. That's essentially a 0.5 meter block. So a 50 centimeter block. Also known as a small grid block in Space Engineers 1 terms. And then if you click R, you'll see you'll go through the different block types. And then you'll also go to the larger size block. And that is the equivalent... Ooh, game save. That's the equivalent to a large grid block in SC1. As you can see, you can just place, and if you hold control, you can place it wherever you want. So if you're not holding control, you can place it based off what the grid that you're holding is, or if you have to hold control, you have a fine to the whatever it is, 0.25 25 centimeter grid size. And it's kind of cool, you know, you can do that. But honestly, I spent a little bit going, right, okay, so that's 2 sizes, how do you get to the 3rd size? Turns out the 3rd size isn't in the light or heavy armor block, it's in detailing cubes. So if you look in here, you're wanting to look for this detailing cube thing here. And these are the smaller blocks. Again, you can hold shift if you want, but they're already in smaller size, so it's pretty easy. You can actually drag, and it works nice. This was a good thing. But the way that building in this game works is weird to me. And it's weird for me in a couple of ways. Firstly, there's certain things in Space Engineers 1 which just worked for me, right? I'm used to how that how the control mechanic works on the game, and there's certain things that they could have kept and they have decided to not keep in the slightest. First of all, for some reason, the scroll wheel controls the hotbar, which you may be like, okay, what, some games do that, what's the bad thing about that? I'm used, so in Space Engineers 1, you would use 1 to 9 or 0, 1 to 0 number keys to switch between blocks, which you can do in this game. Very nice and simple. And then in terms of these type of blocks which have a plus, it means they have a group of a select amount of blocks. So in this case you have cubes, slopes, corners, and inverted corners. So you would, let's say I'd press number 2 and then I'd use scroll wheel to go through that list of blocks. Oh yeah, scroll wheel changes what position you are on the hotbar. It just seems a little bit weird to me. So I'm not used to that and I don't like that. You then have to press, so instead you have to press R to change the size. And that, or to change, which it says size, but it also changes what type of block you're selecting. So you go through it and then you'll go to the big blocks. It just seems very, very weird, right? Then you normally press home, delete, end, and page down to rotate. Nope, that doesn't work. You have to hold, what was it? Shift, control, and yeah, hold control, and then it's WASD, and then also Q and A. So from this orientation, Q rotates that way, E rotates. So it's almost identical to, the home, delete, end, page down, insert, page up, all that kind of setup. But instead it's on the W, A, S, and D keys. Now, I don't mind this too much, and I think I know why they've changed this one. Whee! And I believe it's to do with being able to use one hand to fully rotate control blocks and one hand to use for your mouse. Obviously, before you would have to either take your hand off a mouse to do the page up, down, and delete, or you'd have to take your hand off the, W and D keys to do that. So I understand why you do it. You just can put your pinky finger on control and then you can do all the bits you need to. But it's just, I'm not used to it. And then you've got, depending on what block face you're looking at, it locks, so you have to hold control. And so if I'm looking at the top of a block, you'll see I can place it anywhere on this flat plane, or if I'm on this part, I can place it anywhere on this flat plane. And then depending on what angle you're at, it can get very weird. It's just odd to me. Which is then where I was like, okay, sure, the controls are weird, so let's just change them. Come on, let's just change them. The game hasn't got any. Ooh, hello. Let's change that. The game hasn't got any sense of remapping keys at the moment, which again, early access, sure, but come on, let us change it and stop making things so funky. Another one. I'm used to, you pressing N to activate mirror mode. No, mirror mode is now T because T stands for mirror or something. I don't know. And then you need. So after you've pressed T, you have to hold control or something. No, sorry, you have to press R. And then you can change the plane. Then if you hold control, you can change the plane different. I don't get it. You have to press R for stuff, right? And then you click, and then you press T, and now it works. Cool. Like, they've got them to work, but it's I'm not used to it. It's more just control things rather than it working or not. So I don't know. Another interesting one is then if I go into the paint tool and then I select a block, which I can't just, right click, because, that would make sense. Left click to paint, right click to change. No, you have to press R, and then you have to choose out of this weird wheel. So select color, let's go with red. Now if I paint, mirror mode isn't on. Can't select mirror mode whilst I'm in the paint tool. I have to then press it back on, which I can't actually tell if it's even in the right spot, which it is now. And now I can actually push my middle mouse button in to actually paint. And does it paint in mirror? No. Why? I actually don't know. Oh yeah, also if you come out of the block and try and go back on, nope, mirror mode is gone. What else? Building is cool. I've got to admit, I'm very fond of the increased size, and I'm very fond of you not being confined to either grid size. Right? I want to make that very clear. I do like this system, being able to hold control and offset a block, very, very cool. But not being able to press P to be able to change the color of a block, having to go into the paint tool, pressing R, then selecting color, then choosing a color from a limited selection rather than having infinite amounts of colors, which I'm guessing this is a placeholder again, because they have like a duplicate of basically every color almost, but it's a slightly different shade. It's just weird. Obviously you can hold once a time is done, there you go, and then it paints it. I like that. I like you have to hold it for a certain amount of time. And by the way, you once that time is done, you can still hold it, and only when you let go does it actually paint it. There's been a lot of times where I've pressed Control, Shift, and then middle mouse button, which painted like the entire grid. And it was very annoying. So if I was to go something like that, and now I've got that block, and I do that, you can see no matter how much I try and paint everything, it's not going to. I can just paint whatever I've got. Another interesting thing to me was I was kind of hoping, even if you had a large block, you'd be able to paint like a different color. Again, I'm trying to do this all wrong. So ooh, hello. There we go. So now I've got grey selected. So I'm in this tiny cube, and I want to paint just that square. No, it paints the entire cube. The only way to be able to do that is by spamming R and making a cube of your own. Right? Make a pretend large grid cube out of the smallest grid sizes. Like that. And then you've got to press on the paint tool, press R, go into the thing, go into blue, go back to here. And then you can paint just, you know, independent bits from each angle. But when you get to this side, you still paint both corners. It would be nice to see, even if they can't, you know, break up a block like how I'm talking about here, but even just paint one face, as in each face could be painting a different colour. That would be nice. That would be nice. I'm going to be releasing a video very, very soon, probably in the next couple of days, hopefully. Talking about a couple of things I would love to see added to Space Engineers, or Space Engineers 2, because obviously they're not ditching Space Engineers 1. I'm going to still play Space Engineers 1 for a good long while, because obviously Space Engineers 2 is not in any state to really make a series on at the moment. It's more just cool to look into what they're doing. But there's a couple of things I would love to see, and I hope they will take a listen and do some stuff. But this game is cool, right? Like being able to rotate like a catwalk piece. You have to place it. You know, you can place it next to each other, but you can also place it on top, and you know, stack them infinitely. You know, a block only takes up as much as it takes. It's very cool when you can just go. I'll probably lag my game up. Lag. It's actually very good at breaking blocks like this and not causing too much lag. I think it deletes them very quickly. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's very difficult to say because I came in with very little expectations in all honesty, but not in a bad sense, but more just where it's alpha. I don't want to expect too much, but it does feel like there's not a lot of features. But at the end of the day, it's also very, very cool. I don't know. Let me know. Have you guys got this game? Have you guys been messing around, seeing what it's like? Let me know your feedback. What things? And again, actually, let me know what things you would love to see in Space Engineers 1, 2, both, anything like that. Because, like I said, I'll be making a video. I'd love to see your input, and if you guys have got some good ideas, I'm going to add it to my list. So let's line up with this big blue ship here and try and snap it in half. Because this is where we're going on today's video. As always, my name's been Quantum Chief. Did we split it in half? I think we did. My name's been Quantum Chief, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!